You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Theater 40 for the world premiere of The Surveillance Trilogy. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Lita Siskind. I'm the playwright of these little three plays.
So, question, why did you decide to write these pieces?
I actually wrote them separately. I didn't sit down to write a trilogy at all. The first play, which takes place in 1953, was sort of inspired by some friends of my parents that I realized many, many years later. He was gay and they adopted a kid. And what was that about if you were an ardent communist? And the second play was inspired off a New Yorker article about the Havana Syndrome. And by the time I sat down to write the third play, I was Googling all over the internet about what happens when AIs talk to each other. I realized, wait, I have a theme here. I have a theme about spying. I have a theme about surveillance. So it wasn't conscious, but obviously it's a running thing.
Yeah, it actually reminded me a little bit of George Orwell,
Yeah.
You know, the Big Brother and all that. And all the talk they talk about, about losing privacy and maybe, there being like, some Illuminati or something, controlling the entire world, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think what is actually true is that a lot of stuff we depend on and get pleasure from, like all the stuff Apple gives us and all the stuff Amazon gives us, and a lot of other stuff on the internet, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So you're paying for invasion of privacy. That's the payoff. And I think the difference between me and Orwell is Orwell made it tragic, and it's just commonplace now. We like it. And that's the issue.
Yeah, I agree. First of all, this is very intriguing in the sense that it was kind of a little suspenseful, but also it seemed a little, I could feel the paranoia, a little palpability. But again, when you say it's like commonplace, my company, they give me a phone. Every company gives them a phone. Why do they give you a phone? Couldn't they just say you go buy your own phone and I'll reimburse you? No, they use it because they want to track where you are.
Correct.
Whether you're going to work or not. I was wondering if they turn it on at night, when I'm talking to my wife or something like that. Or maybe. Well,
part of the last play, the whole thing with getting the packages about the pregnancy and all that, that was based off a true incident where there was an AI who overheard a complete conversation that was not supposed to be overheard and sent a package to a girl who was pregnant, and her father didn't know. And he discovered her pregnancy because of the packages that started to arrive. And that's a true story. Overheard.
Well, again, I thought this was very intriguing. Kind of bizarre in a sense, because the commonplace things, it's like, you walk by yourself every day, and then you realize something about it that you've never seen before. That's about the life we're going. Some people tell me, don't ever undress in front of your laptop, because there's a little camera there.
I have a very good friend who works in computers for a living, and he has a very large screen TV, and some of it is taped up. He does that. So, there you go.
Okay, well, that is a little bizarre, but again, it's something we have to be prepared for, and who knows what this brave new world we're going into is like. But whatever case being, I love the piece.
Thank you.
I thought it was very, how should I put it, it was almost a little creepy, but in a good way, you know what I mean?
Oh, good. We like creepy in a good way.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed the play. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. A pleasure.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Amanda Conlon. I am the director of the Surveillance Trilogy.
So, question: why did you decide to do this piece anyway?
Yes, well, I'm a member of Theater 40. I'm an actress as well as a director, and very familiar with Lita Siskind, the playwright's work. I've done several of her readings and seen several of her productions, and I'm a big fan. And when they approached me about directing, it was a no-brainer because I love her writing and I love her material and wanted to support her. And it's a wonderful piece, very contemporary, and so I thought that would be interesting to bring to Theater 40 as well. so it was a no-brainer.
I really don't see pieces like this that much. Where it's kind of suspenseful, a bit George Orwell. A little conspiracy theory and all that. I thought it was intriguing because again, you could just connect with it because it reflected modern times and all that. So I just thought it was wonderfully done.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Yes, that's wonderful to hear, and that's what we're going for with this piece for sure.
Why do you think that it really isn't done that often?
I guess you could say it's a risk. You don't know if people either want to be reminded of these topics because they're based on true events, or we don't have enough playwrights covering these topics. But Lita's done a great job pulling these events that are really interesting and fascinating that no one talks about, and she's done a wonderful job creating this trilogy.
One of the most important jobs of directing is casting. What do you look for in your casting?
Well, looking for good actors. That's a big chunk of directing, is just finding someone who in the audition just really stands out and makes interesting choices and maybe surprising choices. And that, especially for these pieces, since they're basically just 2-person and 3-person scenes, we need captivating actors that can engage us for 20, 30 minutes at a time. So we really needed some all-stars for this, and we found them. Really enjoying watching them develop these brand new characters and where they've gone with it.
Yeah, I thought you did a fantastic job because, first of all, again, they're relatively newcomers to Theater 40. A lot of them I've met. And also, again, some of it is like, how do you teach suspense? How do you teach paranoia? Show me paranoia. Right. I think they did a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we did a lot of background work and kind of what we call table work, where you just, instead of jumping right in and blocking and rehearsing, just talking about these characters and talking about what they went through, and I think that really served the actors well. And it's been thrilling to watch them all come to life.
Well, I've really enjoyed the pieces tonight. I really enjoyed your direction. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Great.
Come see Surveillance Trilogy.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Warren Davis is my name. I've been an actor here in LA for over 20 years or so. I actually was here on the stage speaking with you, in fact, about a year ago for the show Engaging Shaw, right here at Theater 40.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
I played Sidney Webb in Engaging Shaw. And in this show, I play The Man is my name. Well, he's a doctor, and he is tasked, he's a doctor with the CIA, Office of Medical Services, and he's tasked with sort of bringing this whole incident of these sonic attacks to some sort of close, so they can just sort of close the books on it. And it becomes a bit of a cat and mouse between the man and a woman who is the victim about what actually happened and how he's going to be able to do his job and resolve this.
Your character seemed a little, well, obviously he was very businesslike. Obviously he was very authoritative. I basically didn't like him very much as a person. You know what I mean? I thought he was too, he was taking commands, and the commands were very, very amoral, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he was just getting stuff done. He didn't just get it done as quickly as you can. You know what I mean? There's a nice way to do it, a complete way to do it, an easy way to do it. He chose the easiest way to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's sort of what we're going for here. He comes in with an attitude. He's got an attitude about this woman. He's got they're in conflict almost from the very beginning, and he just wants to get his job done and get out of there. So yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. He's not, but he also, as you've seen, he gets to show a little bit layers under the skin later on.
Well, I did like those layers because I remember seeing some other agents from shows like this where basically it was about government, and the people they played were just terrible people. I mean, I wouldn't call them villains because they played them so well. They were, as a villain, you were just very unemotional, you're just very amoral and all that. And I remember one guy I tried to get an interview with, he wouldn't even talk to me. And it wasn't because he didn't like me. It was because he was so ashamed of the character he was playing. You know what I mean? And in a sense, I feel a little bit of that for your character. Even though he was a human being, even though he had a job to do, I was a little I just didn't like him very much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, some people are not likable, and some people are. I mean, everyone is shaped by their experiences, and everyone is shaped by their what they're trying to accomplish in their lives. And sometimes you go down a path that may not be the most virtuous path. And you may not even realize it. I'd like to believe that in this particular scene, that this particular man is somewhat enlightened in a different way by the end and has been affected by this woman. But that's for the audience to decide.
Well, I love the way you played it. Because, again, you connected them, gave them 3 dimensions and all that. And also, basically you served the point and all that. So I just love the way you performed him.
Well, thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say.
All right. Thank you very much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I'm Stacey Mosley. I play a woman in the piece The Havana Syndrome, which is about a real-life experience where embassy workers in Cuba were affected by high-pitched noises that actually caused concussions without actually getting concussions.
Great. And which character did you play?
A woman is her name, yes. At first, she comes across as a victim of an experience and of her circumstances and in her environment, but she's actually incredibly strong. She's coming from a place of strength. She just wants to find out answers, and she wants to get well, and so she will fight tooth and nail to make that happen.
Do you think the piece was a conspiracy theory piece or something like that?
Well, I think at first glance, yes. The idea that this is actually real life. This really happened in real life. So there were 21 people it happened to in Cuba, and then it actually, China was the other place that it's...
Actually more than 21.
Well, okay, 26. And what happened to all of them was they weren't attacked in the embassy, they were attacked in their homes or other places, and they all had very similar experiences, and they actually did chalk it up to crickets. That loud noises from crickets created this pain in their head. But I don't think that's really true.
Yeah. Well, so if my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what do you think? What should they expect to see?
They'll see a lot of espionage, a lot of paranoia, but paranoia that's based in truth. And I think they'll be on the edge of their seats finding out what's really going on with these 2 characters in this play.
Well, I agree, but also they'll also should expect to see some very good acting, because I love the way you played your character. Again, the piece may sound a little, it's hard to communicate paranoia.
Yes.
I mean, you can't physically die. You can't physically do something. Exactly. So I really like the way you guys put it on the edge. I thought you did a fantastic job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it very much. It was a blast to play. This is truly a woman of my age doesn't get a lot of characters like this to play, and it's been amazing to dive into. So,
okay. Well, once again, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
My name is Landon Beatty. Yeah, I grew up in Alabama. I've lived in LA for about 4.5 years now. I've been acting for a minute. So I just joined Theater 40. I'm really happy to be here, really happy to be part of this production.
Great. And which character did you play?
I played man, not a man. I played man in Until All of This Is Over, who I've also named Charlie. But my stage wife calls me Charles when I'm in trouble. Yeah.
Great. And what's your take on that character?
Well, there's a lot going on. I think he is a man who has a lot of secrets, and he's trying to keep his life together. He's trying to keep what he knows together, and he's trying to fit in with the limitations that's being put on him and live the life that he knows while also staying true to himself.
I'm just amazed at how well you performed this, because it's like you had to paint an entire world, an entire culture between 2 people within a short amount of time. It was just amazing how well you did it. It just seems so realistic, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, it's a really great piece. It's really easy to connect to. So I think knowing that these people are real people, knowing that this is a real relationship, makes it come to life all that much easier.
Yeah, also a lot of my viewers would love this piece because again, they had identify with the progressive movements and all that, and also they're intrigued by this. I'm sure some of my viewers have actually lived through something like this, but they don't talk about it. I'm not sure why. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's they still feel someone's watching them or something. Because of their lifestyle, they've always had to worry about. So they're just perpetually just looking over their shoulders. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's why this play is so important, because even though this takes place in the 1950s, it's still really relevant today. I grew up in a small town in Alabama, and there's a lot of that going on, and people don't feel like that they can be themselves, that they can live their life how they feel it's most true to them, because they feel pressured, they feel oppressed, and it's something that we don't talk about. And I think what people really enjoy about this performance when they see it is that it's uncomfortable and it's hard. We get a lot of weird reactions, but it's something that people aren't used to talking about, and I think it's good to be out there.
I also felt a little terror behind, one of the reasons they're like that is maybe they're just afraid someone's going to drag them in the alley and beat them up. You know what I mean? I'm not kidding. I mean, seriously, just throw them in the river and kill them or something like that. That's probably what they really felt.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that happened, and it still happens today. It's happened ever since this took place. So it's a real fear, and these are real emotions that people are experiencing all the time. And I think that's why it's good to have it showcased in this medium.
Yeah. Well, once again, I loved your performance. I love this piece also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashley Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Jocelyn Hall. Born and raised Southern California, Los Angeles. Been here a while. Well, obviously, since I was born here. I've been acting for a really long time. I teach acting. I do sketch comedy. Really happy to have found Theater 40 because it's a really nice space and a lot of fun to be here.
Great. Which character did you play tonight?
I played Woman in Until All of This Is Over. She's very feisty, trying to live as happy a life as possible. She's married. She's trying to make that marriage desperately work. She's trying to put a pretty picture on this family life she's created with her husband and her child so that nobody really pays attention to her because she wants to not have watchful eyes watching her. So she's trying to create as picture-perfect life as possible and trying to actually gain that for herself as well and not just create it looking like that, if that makes sense.
Great. If my viewers decided to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Suspense, because they're going to be wondering what is happening as the play is going on. There's a lot of discoveries. I'm hesitant to say a lot of things because I want the audience to discover them as it's going on. But I feel like with this piece in particular, it's more of a maybe sitting on the edge of their seat, trying to figure out what these two characters are going through and what exactly they're talking about and fighting about and what the issue is and what's happening in their world outside of them. So it is kind of more of a suspenseful thing. And again, I don't want to say any specific details, but just know it is suspenseful. They'll be wondering what's happening. They'll be glued to these two characters that are trying to not only make their relationship work with each other, but again, to not get any suspicious eyes their way. Just because it takes place in the 50s, and that time was different, and there could be people not so happy with certain lifestyles that were led in the 50s, and they were just trying to make their own lives work. So, yeah.
Well, I was intrigued by it. Basically, it was about blacklisting, in which back then they had the communist scares, they had the government interfering in personal lives and all that, but it also talked about it brought us into a different world, a world in which really existed, no one talks about. Even nowadays, you try to find a book about it, it's really hard to find because it dealt with real personal feelings. And now that I think about it, I'm not even sure why you don't find books like that, where basically someone would talk about an entire life they had to lead, in which was just a lie.
Yeah.
And that's what your piece was about.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about this piece in general is that the playwright wrote this piece based around two actual people that existed. So this could be an actual real situation, since it was based on real people. So who knows how many people may have lived this kind of life that our piece takes place in, Who knows? And yeah, because it's the 50s, so it wasn't a thing that was really talked about. And yeah, there are probably not a lot of books about it. It was just simply a different life and a different way of living to not raise suspicious eyes again, because you never know who's watching.
Well, I really loved that piece, and I really loved your performance in it also.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Charlotte Evelyn Williams. I'm from Compton, California. Been acting for a little bit now. I love it. Absolutely in love with it. I'm playing Jez in the show Surveillance Trilogy at Theater 40 in Beverly Hills. And it's a fantastic run, and everyone should come see it. We run until October 14th.
Great, and what's your take on your character?
Oh my God, I love Jess. She's a fun, spunky woman. She's going through a lot in her life. She's in a transition period right now, trying to figure out really what she's doing. She's a little self-centered, but it's because she really has to concentrate on herself because she's not sure what's next, what's the next chapter right now.
Great, and if my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Oh man, so you might get a little paranoid. You will laugh. You might get some goosebumps. It's relatable. The technology that is displayed in our piece is, absolutely modern, and so you might be a little creeped out, but it'll be a great night at the theater.
I agree. Basically, I don't see pieces like this often, unless I see something like George Orwell, which I guess I haven't seen in a long time. But basically, it's like certain things I just got accustomed to, like I remember, someone was telling me always clear the history on your internet. Always do that, and there's actually a way to do that. But the thing about it is I've just forgotten about it. It's like it's like Big Brother's watching me. There's no way I can hide from it. Just let him watch. So so I've accepted that. But again, it's just a little creepy when you see yourself. When you see it really being exposed, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. We absolutely are accustomed to it, and we don't think about it. We don't realize how sometimes when we search something in Google, all of a sudden when we go on Instagram, we see ads for that same thing that we just entered. We start to adapt to it, but it's not normal. People shouldn't be watching us. We should have that privacy, but we don't.
Well, I also enjoyed it because it wasn't just about paranoia. It was actually about family.
Yeah.
Relatable, and also just trying to survive in times like this. So I really enjoyed that part of it. So you guys really made it connectable.
Awesome, thank you. I would agree. It's definitely about family and sometimes how families are dysfunctional and go through a lot. But at the end of it, you see that we do all stick together, even with all of our things that we go through and the arguments that we have. We're all each other has at the end of it, and that's what you see in this play.
Great. Well, I really enjoyed the performance. I enjoyed your performance also. Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
Yes, and thank you for having me. Have a good one.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Max Pesherin. I'm from New York City. I moved to LA about 6 months ago, and I'm really excited to be here, and I'm an actor, and I've had a great time on this show.
Great. And which character did you play?
I played Simon in Are You Listening, the last show. I think he's a very cool character. I think he's someone who is able to look a harsh reality in the face and accept that there is a lot of darkness in the world and try to do something about it. I think most of us, most of the time, try to ignore those things and just, as you said, exist in a world where it seems like none of these things are really going to affect us in any negative way. It doesn't really matter on a day-to-day basis, but when it comes down to it, I think, these are problems that are scary and are problematic, and problems that are problematic. So I think it's cool that it's exciting to play someone who just throws themselves into that paranoia and is able to live in that world and is trying to do something about it.
Yeah, I love the colorful characters. Yours was more like, say, a Berkeley hippie who basically, again, being in Berkeley, he's really good with high tech, probably, he went to UC Berkeley, so he's pretty smart, majors in computer science or something, and now he's doing nonprofit work. Yeah, I really liked your character, even though, again, I don't like characters who are just nice. What I mean? They're not mean, they're not evil, they have no twist to them. But your character, again, was in a rather bizarre situation, so I really like the way you played him.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think, he's got a tough family life. I don't think he's a perfect communicator with his family necessarily, but that's what makes him an interesting character and kind of adds to the tension of the whole mess that we're going through. So it's fun.
Great. If my viewers decide to come by and see your piece, what should they expect to see?
Should expect to see a haunting but also charming and funny story about modern problems and modern paranoia and yeah, love.
Actually, did you ever hear about that story in which some guy invented an AI, artificial intelligence computer, then invented another one? They started talking to each other, and then they invented their own language. And eventually, they just disconnected both of them. And the reason they say is that's not the purpose that we built these guys. But it's just bizarre on what happened.
Yeah, it's weird that a computer could theoretically have agency of its own somehow. I do not know much about that myself as an actor, but the idea is terrifying. And so, yeah, it's fun to access. It's fun to access that place to allow yourself to be full on, except the conspiratorial kind of mindset. It's a mindset that's worth, I think, considering.
Okay, well, I really enjoyed your piece. I really enjoyed your acting, too. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Sequoia Granger. Well, I am 14 years old. I've been an actress for a long time, about 9 years. My passion is to be an actress or in the performing arts community.
Which character do you play tonight?
I play Shira. She's a very confused young girl who's just trying to fit in with the crowd. She's taken bad habits that her friends took in just to fit in, and it's just a very interesting role to play and very new for me.
Great. If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece or these pieces, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to be a lot of confusion and suspense and a lot of laughs as well.
Well, how about your piece, your specific piece? What was it called again?
Oh, are you listening? Yeah, lots of laughs and a lot of suspense, but not only confusion, but more of trying to figure out what's going on because there's so much going on during the whole play.
Do you think this is just paranoia, looking for Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster at that, or do you think there's really something about this?
I would say there is probably something really about this because it's so modern, because how we have other types of technology like this, and you never know what's really happening.
Okay, well, I really enjoyed the piece. Your piece was kind of a little creepy because it was at work, I'm positive there are cameras there watching me. I'm positive someone is watching me. They see me taking stuff like candy or something like that from the counting or something. I know they're doing that, but everyone does it. So I'm assuming that I'm just this cog and there's right because sometimes they say these weird things during my review. They're just, how did they know this,
Right.
So I'm positive doing that. Okay. Well, you look forward to that when you start working too.
Thank you.
All right. Once again, love the performance. I loved your performance also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
The Surveillance Trilogy will be playing at Theater 40 from September 19th to October 13th. For more information, go to www.theater40.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Odyssey Theater for their presentation of In Circles. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
P.T. Mahoney. I moved here from Kansas City, Missouri about a year ago. I went to school at Oklahoma City University, majored in musical theater, and then I got hired on by the Odyssey, and now I'm here.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
I play Cousin. Cousin is a really grief-stricken person most of the show, but every now and again you see some boyish charm that shows up in there. So yeah. And the show's a little kind of nonsensical, but you get little bits of life here and there. So.
Great. If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to come to the performance and know that it's not going to be a regular show. You're going to come, you're going to sit down, you're going to listen to some music, you're going to see some songs. Don't get too caught up on the words. Just sit back and relax. So.
It kind of reminded me a bit of classic clowning with the music. You don't like it?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely. There was some clowning aspects that we definitely incorporated into the show, but we didn't want to go full clown with it. We still wanted there to be some human aspects in the characters. But
yeah, how would you compare this to, say, a ballet? Because in ballet, sometimes they don't have a story either.
Yeah, I would say it's comparable. We're definitely not dancers, but we are. But we do some dancing in the show. I would compare it more to a song cycle. People like to call it a play. People like to call it a musical. I think it's more similar to like a song cycle. The music is just all intertwined with the words and the story, and so yeah, I think it's more like a song cycle than anything else.
Yeah, actually, originally when I first beginning to see the beginning of this, I thought it would be a lot like Cats. You know how it's like,
I think it is similar to Cats. I would say there are definitely similarities to Cats.
Okay, but the dance obviously didn't have the dance of the Cats, and it really, because Cats is about poetry, sections of poetry, and this is kind of broken into sections too. So basically, that's what I thought from. But I thought you guys did a fantastic job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you once again for being on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Colton, and you just came to my performance of In Circles. Were you pleased?
Yeah, I really loved it. So which character did you play tonight?
I played Gertrude Stein. I think she's a genius. I think she was ahead of her time. I think she was a brilliant thinker, and I think she loved words and people and art.
So if my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
You should expect to see a wave of words and phrases washing over you with Al Carmine's gorgeous music and a young and gorgeous ensemble of young dancers and singers and an old lady, Gertrude Stein, who started it all.
It reminded me a lot of classic clowning. Put the music.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. We were hoping to entertain, not just be heavy-handed with literature. But I think Gertrude Stein must have had a sense of fun.
Yeah, well, the words were very common. They were accessible, but they were also kind of happy words. You know what I mean? You didn't hear words like murder or rape. You heard happy words, something suitable for children.
Well, you heard a little tuberculosis and slaughter, but it's very few and far between. It's mostly people trying to be happy, wanting to get married, and mourning their loved ones.
Well, I thought you guys did a really good job, because again, this is a pretty complex topic, but I think it's available, it's accessible to the entire family, and I think you guys performed it very well.
A total family. One of the ladies that was in the original had a 7-year-old who came and sat through rehearsals, and sometimes between shows we'd go out to dinner together, and somebody'd come up and say, well, I don't know what the hell anyone was talking about, and the little boy said, well, I thought that the first time I saw it, but then I saw it again, and it's about some people who want to get married, it's about someone who gets killed, and people wanting to be happy.
Well, again, once again, I thought it was very entertaining, very artistic, and it was very well done by the actors, because again, you need really strong actors to carry this thing out. So I think you guys did a fantastic job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you once again for being on the show.
Everybody from Irvine, hurry on up to the Odyssey, okay?
Right, thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Chloe Haven. Hi. I graduated from AMDA, and this has been my first real show out of college, and it's been wonderful.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
Mildred. Mildred is the ingenue. She's the role that Jackie used to play in the original cast, who plays Gertrude now. She's just really nutty and fun, and does whatever she wants.
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Not to expect anything out of it, just to have a fun time and not try to figure it out. Yeah.
It actually reminds me a lot of classical clowning. You know what I mean? It kind of put the music.
Yeah, for sure. Classical clowning. Yeah. It's just a lot of children understand it kind of more than adults, because they don't really try to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a blend of Dr. Seuss. There's no really story here, but then again, it's more of a tune. You know what I mean? It's more trying to write a song kind of like that, putting words to a tune, but trying to put emotions to it also.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's really no explaining it. It's just circles. It's just a fun time. Yeah.
Well, I think you guys did a fantastic job, because you actually made sense to it all, and I kind of got the emotions behind that all.
Yeah.
So I thought you guys did a fantastic job tonight.
Great. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to meet you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Aaron Jung. Come see In Circles at the Odyssey Theater. It's really fun, and you'll have a blast.
And which character did you play tonight?
I played Jesse, but it's an ensemble show, so we're all a huge part of the cast and the story. Jesse is a character that doesn't have a definition, but in that sense it can kind of be whatever that you make of it.
So if my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see a lot of energy, a lot of surprise, and a whole lot of random movement, but in a good, fun, and structured way.
I really enjoyed the music also. I think it went really well. It brought you to a kind of a different place in your mind. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the music is really well written. And a lot of the songs are written shorter, so you kind of get like a little bit of every kind of style that he wanted to write in.
Yeah, well, I think you guys did a fantastic job. The movement was good. It reminded me a lot of classic clowning, so you guys put a lot of emotion in it, and it was a bit, it was very artistic, which I really, really liked.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, once again, you guys did a fantastic job. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Shelby Corley. This show is very fun, entertaining, wild, crazy, nasty, red, fun experience.
Which character do you play?
I play Mabel. Mabel's a badass flapper who calls you out and tells it like it is.
I've always asked that of all the actors, how they play their character, because, only you can play your character. Is that necessary? Does that mean anything in this play that you actually put a character to your character?
I think it means more to the actor than maybe to an audience member, because without that base, then it would be even more, go over your head even more. So as long as it doesn't go over our heads and we can do our job better, then hopefully we get some sort of entertainment for the audience.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Crazy, fun music, wild, wacky, a mess.
It actually reminded me a bit of classic clowning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a bit of like commedia dell'arte, but there are some like genuine moments, I think, some teary moments, but most of all, it's just a fun comedic time.
Yeah, it's interesting how you express teary moments without really saying weird words to it, but also expressing because you guys did a fantastic job in that, connecting with the audience, actually making it accessible.
Right, yeah, and that's why it's important to like have some sort of idea of a character, because then I think the words, even though they don't make any sense, come out genuine.
Well, I thought you guys did a fantastic job tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Henry Arbor. I play George in Circles at the Odyssey. We just opened on the 14th, and we run until November 10th. If you like Gertrude Stein and you like musicals and you want to be entertained, come on down to the Odyssey Theater.
And what's your take on George?
George, he's a lover.
Is it really necessary to have a character? I mean, basically, this is kind of like, there's no really a storyline that we have to carry, but I mean, is it necessary for you to basically have an arc?
Yeah, I think the characters are how, it unfolds. So yeah, I think without, specific characters, the show really wouldn't be anything.
Okay, if my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should yeah, nose kisses.
Yeah, basically, there was a lot of words. It was like poetry. You know how you read a poem?
It wasn't like poetry. It is poetry.
Yeah. You know how there can be some poems that make no sense at all. It's just a bunch of words put together, and you're wondering, what is this? But
modernism. Modernist poetry is the genre of Gertrude Stein.
Interesting. And how do you put that to dance? I mean, how do you put that type of... Because the dance just seemed to tie very well to it.
The last time we were at one of these things.
I'm not the choreographer, so I don't know, but... Yeah, it's just a matter of, like any show, like any play, whether it's like Shakespeare or poetry or whatever, your job is to get it off of the page and bring it to life, so...
Well, you guys did a fantastic job, because basically it was accessible to the audience. It wasn't just out of there crazy poetry. It actually made sense. It actually had emotion to it, and it had a bit of an arc to it too.
Yeah, accidental arc.
Okay, well, once again, I thought you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thanks, thank you.
In Circles will be playing at Odyssey Theater from September 14th to November 10th. For more information, go to www.odysseytheater.com. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Will Geer's Theatricum Botanicum for their presentation of
Heinrich Ibsen's An Enemy of the People.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Christopher W. Jones. This has been an extraordinary process doing this play, and just like a multi-layered play that we've taken this. I'm Norwegian, so I've always enjoyed Ibsen plays, but it's the first time I actually performed in one. So the weight of it, and then putting this in the 1980s and adding the stain of the civil rights era and racism and the weight of that 27-layered burrito it's been one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life. But it's been an extraordinary experience.
Great. Which character do you play?
I play Thomas Stockman. Thomas Stockman is a good man. He's a good doctor. He loves his family dearly. He's very excitable, and he believes in the truth, and he's so excited about being a part of the community. It's the thing that excites him the most. But he gets a little ahead of himself. He talks before he thinks, and in this play he takes things a little bit too far and stirs up some violence that almost gets them in trouble. But he's a dreamer, and he's a father, and he's a believer.
I love this take on Ibsen because on the enemy of the people. Because basically, it's like your character is he's a bit too good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if you put him in the right situation, you put him in the South, you have him face racism. Suddenly, it just wakens it. It just makes it so relevant. You know what I mean?
Of course. The hard thing, we work so fast here, and sometimes we don't get to have as many conversations as we need to have about racism and the layers of how that affects every single character in this play. And especially in 1980, to have a mixed race family at this place in rural South Carolina, and what that would do. Now we're used to that. This family is very normal now. We see commercials now at the breakfast table with a mixed race family. So to put it at that time and to feel what that would have been like, I think is extraordinary. But it requires a lot of conversation. So we have to do extra work backstage when we're not in rehearsal to have these conversations because of the spirit of this place and how quickly we move. So that has been a challenge too, is really connecting with each person to make sure we're understood and all those gaps are filled, all that connective tissue comes together, because it's so weighty. It's already weighty. Ibsen repeats himself 8 million times in every play, and then we put this on top of it, and there's a huge weight on it. There's a huge weight on us.
Yeah, well, there's still a lot of racism out there. You know, I mean, there's people. There's still a lot of racism out there. But basically, if my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see a very dynamic cast. They should expect to see a very uplifting experience. They should feel uncomfortable looking at some of this racism and how it's reflecting what we're looking at right now, with whether it be the Ku Klux Klan or our president or neo-Nazis or everything in between. People posing that and throwing dog whistles left and right. So you're going to feel a little uncomfortable at times, but you're also going to be lifted up at the spirit of this family and how they come together at the end.
Yeah, they'll also see basically dynamic, almost preaching, but preaching of, I wouldn't say about God, preaching about common sense, about fairness, about what happens when a family is threatened, about what happens when they're just about doing the right thing, and they'll be actually uplifted, they'll be encouraged, they'll be actually motivated to go out there and do the right thing. You know what I mean?
I love that. I think that's great. Stockman likes to talk about the categories that we put ourselves in as human beings, poor and rich, or black and white, and he really breaks it down as the most important thing is the educated and uneducated, and it's not a bad word at all. And the lowest, the commoners in society do not. The common people are really the uneducated people. So that's the argument, and he gets into some hot water over it. But I love that. I love your take on it. I love what you said.
Well, I loved your performance because first I loved your words. Almost like you were doing a rap, almost like you were singing a song, like a black musical or something like that. You were imitating like a black preacher or even the presidential candidate. So I just loved your performance tonight. I love the performance as a whole tonight. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. See you soon.
Heinrich Ibsen's An Enemy of the People will be playing at Theatricum Botanicum from June 22nd to September 28th. For more information, go to www.theatricum.com. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Sierra Madre Playhouse for their presentation of The Joy Luck Club.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here
with Tim Dang, the director of the Joy Luck Club at Sierra Madre Playhouse.
So, question: why did you want to do this piece anyway?
You know, I was the producing artistic director of East West Players, which is the nation's premier Asian American theater that was founded in 1965. And when East West Players did the Joy Luck Club in 2008, it was directed by a very well-known director named John Lawrence Rivera. So when Christian Labano approached me from Sierra Madre Playhouse, he's the artistic director there, and he approached me about the Joy Luck Club, I had to think, this is a really good time to bring this story up again because of Crazy Rich Asians, the movie, because of Fresh Off the Boat, the TV series. And so there's a lot of Asian American stories that's happening that, all around the world now. And so I thought that when he came to me and approached me about the Joy Luck Club, I said yes, because this was a good time to bring all these stories to life. And the good thing about the Joy Luck Club is that it has 16 stories about mothers and daughters. They're immigrant mothers and the American daughters. And so this is what we wanted to bring to the stage and hopefully share with the rest of the community.
Well, I love the piece. I love the story. But, I remember when I first saw Joy Luck Club. Well, they say that, Crazy...
You mean the film,
yes.
The Joy Luck Club?
Yes, the film. They say that Crazy Rich Asians was the first all-Asian mainstream cast since the Joy Luck Club. But when you think about it, for male Asian role models, there were no male Asian role models in the Joy Luck Club. This may have been the first time there was a male Asian role models with Crazy Rich Asians. But then I'm thinking, does that make it better? Does it make it better? Because in a theater piece, you gotta have villains. You have to have antagonists. You have to have the drama. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Right. Okay, so when you think about China, it's a patriarchal society where men could have 5 wives, where men treated the women like property. Then when you think about America and the relationships of how men and women are in America, while it may be better, it's still not the best situation, right? So a lot of the daughters ended up with divorce, in this particular story. So I think that this story reminds us of the inequities that happen not only in China, but also in America, and the kind of empowerment and passion that these women have to have in order to endure. I don't necessarily think of it that, all the men are such, terrible people, but it is more about the celebration of how women have overcome their problems and issues from the time that they were in China through arranged marriages till the time when they are in America and they're quote unquote American, but still that there are issues that they need to deal with in terms of trying to be American, but at the same time they have a history of being Chinese as well. So it's very challenging, very, very challenging.
Yeah. Well, one of the hardest jobs of a director is casting. Obviously, one of the most important jobs also. What do you look for in casting anyway?
In this particular show, we were very fortunate to have over 300 women audition for the show. So once we were able to call back the cream of the crop, we found out that we could actually cast an all-Chinese cast, with the exception of the Caucasian actor. And so we kind of went with that, because if we needed to have someone speak in Mandarin, that we had that luxury of doing the show or doing sections of the show in Mandarin as well as in English. So that was the really great part of it. But just in terms of casting, what we were looking for were those actors who were able to bring the emotion across. If you think of the book, the film and then the play. The important thing about the play is that the actors actually talk to the audience. So we needed those actors who were very comfortable that when they're speaking, they're actually communicating with the individual people in the audience. And that was the important thing in terms of telling the story and being able to emotionally recreate those stories for the audience in the theater.
Well, first of all, I'm glad that you guys got an all-Asian cast, an all-Chinese cast, because I remember when the Joy Luck Club, the film, first came out, they thought that they were going to have enough Asian actors, period, to be able to cast the film. In fact, one of the female leads, she was actually Vietnamese.
Correct. And so, that was back in the 1980s, so this is 2019. I think the times have changed. There is a much more abundance of Asian American actors of every single ethnicity, and I think that in terms of the authenticity, that it was right that Sierra Madre Playhouse thought about the possibility of casting an authentic cast for the Joy Luck Club. We did look at all 300 people, so again, we did look at Korean Americans, Japanese Americans, Filipino Americans, and we called them all back. But then once we finally decided in terms of how we wanted to cast the show, there was that possibility that we could cast an all ethnically Chinese cast.
Well, I thought you guys did a fantastic job. Wonderful. Because again, Joy Luck Club was about 12 actors, like 4 mothers, 4 daughters, 4 antagonist males. So again, to get all those stories combined together was quite a feat, and to have this performance done so well was just a tribute to you also.
Well, great. It is a challenge trying to remember who everyone was, and so the costume designer did a really good job in terms of color coordinating all the mother and daughters. The set designer, who also did the projections, made sure to introduce everyone's name on the projections, and then we made it very clear in terms of who was telling whose story. So, yeah, that was very important that we tried to make it as clear as possible in terms of who everyone was on stage.
Once again, beautiful piece. I loved it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Sure. Thank you so much for coming. And this show runs until October 5th, so please come and check it out at Sierra Madre Playhouse.
The Joy Luck Club will be playing at Sierra Madre Playhouse from August 24th to October 5th. For more information, go to www.sierramadreplayhouse.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at North Coast Rep for their presentation of Amadeus.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Tony Amendola.
Well, first of all, I loved you in Stargate. I thought you were fantastic. I loved you in Once Upon a Time. I loved you always at NTS because I'm always going there. So basically, question. With all the stuff you do, why do you want to do this piece?
Well, I think it speaks to people because we all like to think of ourselves as being geniuses, but of course we're not. And only a small group of people can be touched by God or touched by genius. And most of the rest of us are spectators, regardless of how much we work. And so I sympathize very much with Salieri and with that dilemma. And also the injustice of how talent and genius is distributed. So it's a very human story, I think.
So what's your take on your character?
Human. Human with all the foibles: jealousy, envy, need, love, loneliness, betrayal. So just humanity, that's what, not making him into a villain or anything like that.
I basically loved your performance. It was basically, the frame of this piece. It was about the greatest artists in the world, or one of the greatest musicians in the world, Mozart. A classical time, a time of elegance, a time of art, a time of enlightenment. Basically, I felt this piece was just inspired by God. I felt it was touched. I thought the muses were crying down because basically I just felt like I was taken to another time.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. I mean, he changed everything. Many people talk about him, although it's Baroque, they talk about it as being the first romantic. I mean, it's unique, and just to be in the play and hear his music every night, you know.
Yeah, but you're being really, really modest. You know, this piece, again, it's like an opera. You know, if you have a bad singer singing an opera, it's boring, it's dull, everyone will tell you. This piece was like a classical opera, incredibly challenging.
It is, yeah.
You did a fantastic job. I mean, I've seen you before. I love your work, but this piece was just beyond me. It was breathtaking. I was just in awe.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I wish I could explain it. You know, we're actors, we try to do our job. And sometimes you connect with material, and sometimes you're open to receive that material, and then that's what happens. People talk about art and stuff. I mean, I think art happens at a particular time when the audience receives what the people are giving. It doesn't happen all the time. That's what makes it so wonderful. And so I'm really happy that you enjoyed this.
Well, I usually ask the actors, what should they expect to see? What they're going to see from this piece, you're going to be taken back in time. You're going to see a man, you know how art is basically about pain and passion? You're going to see a man in agony at the same time being driven insane by his passion. That's what we're going to see. I just love this piece. You're fantastic. And thank you very much for being on the show.
All the best. Thank you. And come see us.
Amadeus will be playing at North Coast Rep from September 7th to October 6th. For more information, go to www.northcoastrep.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Deaf West Theater for the American premiere of The Solid Life of Sugar Water.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
My name is Sandra May Frank, and this is my interpreter, Ellie. So I've been involved with Deaf West for a long time, since Spring Awakening to this production, and I'm a deaf actor, and I believe in doing amazing things and doing plays in different ways, doing new shows. This is a new show, you know, and it's a beautiful, amazing, mixed hearing and deaf cast, and it's amazing what hearing and deaf people can do together once you get rid of that barrier. My character was named Alice. Alice is a strong woman. She's blunt, she's not afraid to speak her mind, she can do anything. And she shows her vulnerability throughout the show, especially as a woman, and how women face different things. They have to do more work emotionally and what have you, and Alice finds a way through that.
Great. If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Really, you don't set any expectations. Don't come in with any expectations. This is not the kind of show that people leave with in the same mindset. It's the kind of show that provokes people's feelings. Some people have experienced this, and some people know people who've experienced this. Everyone's gone through a relationship in their life, and the love-making process in this show. Just really, the point is, don't expect anything. Just show up and watch and see what happens.
Well, I really love the piece because basically whenever I see deaf theater, I think this is my third deaf piece I've seen. I'm always fascinated by the other senses that are heightened, whether it's by facial expression, whether by movement, by just a gyration in which mimics the meter a person speaks in. So again, all this is just an art form in which is unappreciated, in which I just enjoy, the same way some people would enjoy, say, impressionist art, opposed to, say, realism.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really both hearing and deaf actors, there's no big difference there. But like you just mentioned, facial expressions, hearing people typically have the grammar in their voice. They change tone, they change timbre when they're changing emotion. Deaf people have to take that tone and put it all onto their face to deliver the emotion in a broad way. I open up the emotion a little bit more that way. So there's different ways and different perspectives. And it's all put on the stage, and when you get both sides together, it's amazing.
Actually, I also must comment that basically this is not suitable for children. Do you think it was too sexual? I mean, what do we think about the sexuality of the play?
It really depends on the parents with their children, obviously. I learned about sex when I was 7, so I don't know. But really, it's very deep. It's very sexual, yes. So I think it's for mature audiences, and it's important to check with the parents first.
Also like the fact that it's actually a very base type of play, in a sense. It's about how should I put it? Good versus evil. It's not a complex type theme, but it's very interesting when I see a play where there's almost like a Brady Bunch, where there's a man and a woman, and they just have a good time. I've seen them mix the cast, where the woman's now African American, and suddenly it opens the world. You see it in a different light. It's the same thing about this. Even though the play was not about, tragedies, Macbeth, it was actually about, a simple piece. It actually opened your eyes when it was done in this form with deaf actors.
Right, absolutely. This is the kind of show where it's a couple who goes through a trauma and a traumatic event, and they try to reconnect through lovemaking. That's it. That's really the point of the show. There's bad moments, there's good moments, and each individual has equally good and bad moments. Both men and women are experiencing the same thing in that moment, and I think that's what makes the show amazing. There's no obvious evil person.
The Solid Life of Sugarwater will be playing at Deaf West Theater from September 12th to October 13th. For more information, go to www.deafwest.org.